It is I, John _ Silva _ your favorite streamer. Today we have Pantyhose Greatness, and he asks, here's my question. How to do lines / hatching like this? Example. Okay, so this is a line quality, and I guess a little bit of shading. Question. You know what? I'll actually go back because I will need to zoom in there. We'll just take the head, just like all our enemies. We'll take this part here. It's zoomed in enough. Blee blah bloop. There you go. Just get, just get good, bruh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I see. Okay. Okay. The 24 times 52 divided by the pi calculation of the centrifugal force of the nature of the lion. You will pick a round brush like this one. All right. In fact, you're also gonna give it a little bit of color, just like every so slightly. All right, just a little bit, like so. I have a little bit of a get good answer, which is stability. You know what? I'm gonna be the greater man here. I will not fall into chat traps. So here's the thing. Yes, you do have to get good. But there's 3 things to keep in mind as far as line art quality like this goes. Number 1 is obviously control. You know, when you draw a line from point A to point B, how nice can you make that line? Look, it's a smile, chat. It's smiling to you. There you go. Obviously, that's control. Let's take one thing at a time. How do you develop control? So actually what I just did is perfect. Drawing 2 dots in the canvas, paper, whatever it is, on the sand, it doesn't really matter. This is a really good practice to try to bop, just one smooth straight motion from one dot to another, and then you can add another one and like try to see how straight and how accurate you can make it. Second version to this is making it a curve. I'm actually gonna just erase the A and B. Does not need to be. So you practice your curves accuracy, which you just try to make it as even and as smooth as possible. Of course, you can add multiple. I'll add like 3 here, and I'll just go like blah blah blah. I am practically the Shroud of liners. Okay. So you just draw a bunch of dots around and you try to connect them in whatever way makes sense to you, and however way you can make it smooth and uniform looking. All right. Third exercise and final, as far as control goes, that I personally usually do is you draw a letter. In this case, it's like a C. And then you try to draw a smaller C inside while maintaining the space between each line. You try to keep it as parallel as possible. Obviously, you can see where I failed, like it tapered down here. But you try to keep the distance as equal as possible. And you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going until you like don't have more space anymore. You do exactly the same for S curves. It's pretty much C, S, I. Wow! Okay. Please cut that part off. It's kind of cringe. But it really is the CSI lines is what people usually, artists usually use. I should just end my video there. I should have not done that. S curves are the best curves. Some people are more into T curves. Some people are more into S curves. We don't really judge here. So that is the number one thing that will make you be better as far as control. So let's take let's take the year, something simple to look at, right? So let's replicate the year here. Just kind of like going like this, and then there's a little thingy there. There you go. And then sort of like, I'm gonna, for now, gonna keep it uniform. We'll build this ear as we go. Actually, I'll do the top one. There you go. That one. And then kind of has like this sort of curve to it. And let's call it there for now. So second part to it is thickness. So the thickness of a line, how do you, the way you practice it, I don't really know any specific exercises for it, other than there's only a couple of things to keep in mind. My webcam died. Hello. Why does this keep happening to me? Okay, it's back. The only thing I usually keep in mind, actually there's two things I keep in mind, is how close is, actually there's three things. One is how important is the shape that I'm drawing, so the ears, how separate from everything should they look, right? And how important are those ears to me in the painting. That will make me want to define the line art throughout, maybe a little bit thicker to create contrast versus thinner line art, right? So you can kind of like just go over what you already done, and give it a little bit of contrast by making it thicker. The second thing that makes me decide whether a line should taper or expand, or basically thin it out or thick it out, is based on is it ambient occlusion or not. So ambient occlusion is like, if you close your fingers really close, there's that fine darker line. It's when two objects touch each other and love each other very much. There's that really dark out, like fine line that light just has a bit of a trouble getting in, right? So usually the creases of your mouth, eyes, like folds of your hands, shit like that, tends to get a treatment in the line art where I will make it thicker in that area, right? But again, it depends really of the situation, and I will taper in the line where I feel like, for example, light might be quite bright in a specific area, right? So you do take lighting into account, at least a little bit. What else? Oh yeah, and third thing is proximity. So for example, if I have a character that extends his hand towards the camera, then I might want the hand to be a little heavier in the line art versus the rest of the character. And that also goes in hand with the first part, which is how important is that, like an area of the design for the character that I should keep in mind to separate from other busier elements in the image, right? So that's really up to your decision. No one can really decide that for you. All right, so line art in a nutshell is that. Now the shading, one thing you can, okay, so this guy is Omega good. So what he does is he has a million experience, so he can already predetermine what his shading is going to be, and shape and curvature and all that, because he has like bajillion experience. Now you probably don't, otherwise you wouldn't be asking me this question, because otherwise you would know what to do. So what I would recommend you do is give it a little, like a light outline that maybe you can even erase later. So I'll do it here on the ear. Right? You kind of like, you know how in animation they outline in blue where the shadows are supposed to be filled in, like when it's just penciled and stuff like that. It's a little bit like that, where I would. Dude, what's wrong with flies and butterflies wanting to fuck my face? You do a little bit of a outline, and then based on that outline, you try to fill in the shading, but you need to keep in mind the form. So the shading should follow the form. You see how like the lines follow the hair, and there's like a tilt to the lines and stuff like that. So you want to keep it medium kind of lines for this, and you want to remember the CSI lines that I mentioned to you. That will help you with spacing things out fast as well. For science, remove her bangs. That's way too much work. I don't have that kind of time. I'm a very busy man. So you just keep going. And I would say that you could give it a first pass like that. And I think that's what he does. He does like he or she. There's a first pass, and then where he wants it heavier, darker, he'll go once again. And this time he kind of halves his brush strokes like that. You'll notice that there's a division right there, and it's due to this. Now, I'm terrible. I mean, I'm not terrible at it. I'm trying to rush, but this is pretty much what he does. I'm also not as good at this guy. He's fucking amazing. But if you spend time, love, and care, and you water your plants, then maybe one day you'll get these sort of line arts. Of course, I would recommend you do the whole thing where you outline the shadow shape first on a different layer, so that then you can just erase it. I'm actually gonna do that, so I'm gonna like blah. There you go. And then yeah, I can tell he pretty much just did the same here, where he's kind of like, and notice how I am trying to curve from this to that, you know, to follow the form very smoothly, as smoothly as you can. And then he has a very darker outline here. I also would recommend you to spend time doing this. I know it looks fast, and it probably was fast for the guy. He's like really, really good. So he or she probably does it pretty fast. But in your case, I would recommend you to like actually pause and think about the brushstrokes that you are doing, right? And honestly, like as far as line art's quality goes, this is essentially what you need to do. There's no shortcut to it. You gotta spend time, definitely a lot more time than I did on this. And I just did a year here. You still have the rest of the character. Everything else, that like the bangs, etc., all applies to the same thing. I know this is not the most interesting thing to look at, a goddamn ear, but what counts is the practice that you do to it. So yeah, this concludes. It was a short one, it was a quick one, but this concludes the answer. Once again, don't forget, chat, if you want to support my stream, please sub. That's the best way to do it. If you have no money, just make my chat go fast and give me a follow, and open my stream in all of your devices, so I can get multi. Anyways, see you on the next one.